Dr. Garg, Mr. Popeley, I'd like to thank you most warmly for your kind invitation today to join you in your efforts to promote renewable energy in India and throughout the world. Distinguished members of the panel and of the audience, many of you will know, and this is my gift to the technologists out there, many of you will know the phrase, "To a man with a hammer, every problem is a nail needing to be hit." And so you may guess that to a banker, every problem is a loan needing a credit decision. We, as bankers, understand exactly how to hit that problem. We know every aspect of our nail, its security, its tenor, its credit history. And given the prudent beings that we are, we've even developed a set of mathematics to describe it, around default probabilities, loss given default, recovery rates, and so on. If you ask your banker to innovate, and as a society, that's a request about which we need to think carefully, but anyway, the banker will hear the words risk, and he will immediately think how he's going to spread and mitigate that risk. You will hear in return words like credit enhancement, parent guarantees, sovereign guarantees, commercial guarantees, collateral, and all those kinds of words. Don't get me wrong, all of this is good and proper and will eventually reduce the price of your loan and improve the sustainability of the project and your sponsors. The problem we're facing today, as a number of people have spoken about, is the sheer number of nails that need hitting. The volume of financing needed for renewable energy in India and across the globe is truly stellar. Many, many lakhs and crores. And as the Honourable Minister himself was saying this morning, the projects are happening now. So we face the twin problem in our financing of both scale and speed. So in just these few moments, I'd like to take you through a little story about a few of the innovations that my organisation has tried to introduce. My organisation is the European Investment Bank. So who is the EIB, and why would anyone think to invite us to share in this Congress? Well, the EIB is one of the largest financiers of climate projects worldwide. We are a multilateral bank owned by the 28 members of the EU, of the European Union. We are the EU Bank. We are the largest multilateral development bank for financing climate globally. We are the largest multilateral bank issuer of green bonds, and we are committed to financing climate action to the tune of $100 billion in the next 5 years. All of this begs the question, how have we been innovative? Well, we haven't quite thrown away our hammer. We're still lending some 80 billion a year, 27% of which is in climate finance. So there are just really 3 projects that I'd like to talk to you about, 3 examples of the ways in which we're trying to innovate in the delivery of this finance. The first is called GREF, our Global Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Fund. This is a 220 million euro fund, which was set up by ourselves and the European Commission and a number of private sector investors. And it's set up as a fund of funds. So we invest in renewable energy funds and energy efficiency funds around the world. So in Ethiopia, we've invested in Korbeti geothermal project, supplying electricity to over 1 million people in Ethiopia. We've invested in the Cougar Wind Farm in the Republic of South Africa and the Talifa Wind Farm in the Jordan Desert. And we do this by investing in small, innovative projects and small, innovative private equity funds that are new to the market. So these are new markets, not just new geographies, but new opportunities for private sector investment. So we're helping to catalyze not only finance, but technical expertise. We focus on the outcomes of these projects. So not just simply the revenues returned by the project or the return rates. We focus on the employment that they generate, the economic benefits of the health and education and all the other good things and manufacturing that come along with it. We are helping to generate a new class of investments that other people will feel are worthy of investing in, attracting more money into these investments. And the most stunning effect of all of these funds is, and there are a number of them, we have something like 20 different equity funds that we operate in the bank, is the gearing ratio. So for every euro that we put into these funds, there is something like 27 times that amount of investment going into the projects at the end. In particular, the one that I've just mentioned, the GREF, the Global Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Fund, has a gearing of 1 to 50. So 1 euro generates 50 euros of investment in the project. So that's one way in which we're innovating. The second is through partnership. And I was glad to hear Dr. Garg's earlier emphasis on wind, and in particular offshore wind. This is, although people talk about solar and wind together in the same bracket, wind is still a rapidly emerging technology. Some of the offshore wind projects now are over 200 meters high, and they're generating 5 and 8 gigawatts, and there are new bids of 12 gigawatt windmills coming in the near future. The EIB and the European Commission has been working together on a project called FAUPI, the first offshore wind power in India. And it's in a second stage. So we've done a wind survey of the offshore projects around offshore sites around India. We've gone into a bit more detail around Tamil Nadu and Gujarat, and we're now looking at financing a large-scale project, possibly up to 200 megawatt project off the shore of Gujarat, some 15 kilometers offshore. And so why would we focus on offshore? It's not just that we support German and Danish hammers. This is still very much an emerging technology, meaning that this is still up for grabs in all the areas that India is very good at. You simply need to put some large pieces of steel in the ocean, back it up with some heavy engineering, and bingo, you're employing not only generating power, you're employing people, you're employing them in research, you're employing them in manufacturing, in construction, and in operation and maintenance, all in possibly coastal communities. So there are some very powerful impacts to this. So choosing the technologies in which we invest is a very important decision in innovation. The third project that I wanted to mention was a project that we're doing in Morocco called Ouarzazate. It's a solar concentrator project. At the moment, we're partnering with KfW, the Germans, the European Commission, and the World Bank in Morocco to construct a power site, a solar concentrate site, which will generate power for 1 million households and reduce the energy imports by 2.5 million tonnes. This is going to generate 14% of Morocco's energy needs going forward. So just to sum up, I'd like to say that the innovation requires intelligence, focus, and commitment to follow where society and technology is leading us. Thank you.